Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Nova. Today, we are stepping into a realm where the biological brain meets the very fabric of the universe. We're talking about a concept that will literally change how you see the world around you. Joining us today is Saul, a senior researcher doing some truly mind-bending interdisciplinary work in cognitive neuroscience and quantum science. Welcome to the show, Saul.
Thanks, Nova. It's really great to be here. The human brain is already the ultimate mystery, but when you start peeling back the layers of perception, it gets wonderfully weird pretty fast.
I can only imagine. So let's start with a really cool analogy from your article you recently published. I have my smartphone right here in my hand. If I tap a green icon, I can suddenly talk to a friend 3 continents away. If I press play, a full symphony orchestra swells in my earbuds. But if I were to take a hammer and smash this phone to pieces, please don't do that at home, folks, I wouldn't actually find an orchestra inside, right?
Exactly. You wouldn't find your friend's voice trapped inside the microchips either. The music and the conversation aren't in the phone. They are signals from the cloud. The phone is merely a localized receiver, a beautifully designed interface that translates invisible waves into something you can actually hear and see.
Okay, so how does this relate to human consciousness? Because most of us grew up learning that the brain is essentially a factory, right? A biological machine that manufactures consciousness through chemical reactions.
Right, but what if we've been looking at it backwards this whole time? What if the brain, just like your smartphone, is merely the hardware for a signal that exists elsewhere? This is what we call the receiver theory.
Wow. So the me inside my head isn't just a byproduct of biology?
Precisely. To understand this, we have to look at the work of cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman. He uses a brilliant analogy. Imagine the desktop on your computer screen. You see a blue icon that represents a folder. You can drag it, open it, or delete it. But, is that file actually a blue folder?
Of course not. It's just code, right?
Yes, the file is a highly complex array of zeros and ones, magnetic states and voltage toggles. If you had to manipulate raw binary code every time you wanted to save a simple Word document, you would never get anything done.
Honestly, I can barely find my files as it is when they are color-coded.
Exactly. The blue folder is a lie, but it is a useful lie. It hides the complex truth of the computer's inner workings so that you can actually operate the machine. Hoffman argues that this is exactly what the human brain does with reality. Our perception is not a window into the absolute truth. It is just a user interface.
That is fascinating. So evolution basically gave us a biological VR headset?
Spot on. According to evolutionary biology, organisms that see reality exactly as it is go extinct. Why? Because processing the absolute truth, the infinite quantum data, the wave functions, the subatomic vibrations, is computationally expensive and way too slow.
So if I'm walking in a jungle and I see a tiger, I don't need to know the quantum spin of its atoms or the exact wavelength of the light reflecting off its fur. I just need to know, big orange run.
Haha, exactly. Big orange run. Evolution designed our brains to filter out 99.9% of reality to keep us alive. We render the world in simple, easy-to-read icons like apple, snake, or fire. We don't see the truth, we see utility.
Okay, but if our brain is this restrictive VR headset designed to filter things out, what happens when people experience unexplainable things, like deep intuition or almost telepathic moments with people they love?
That is where the glitch in the system comes in. The receiver theory offers a fascinating explanation for things mainstream science struggles to pin down. If the brain is a filter designed to limit our bandwidth, then phenomena like profound intuition are simply glitches in the interface. They are rare moments where the filter slips, the bandwidth widens, and we pick up a signal from the cloud that wasn't strictly meant for our specific localized terminal.
So when I finish a close friend's sentence or feel a sudden sense of dread before something bad actually happens, I'm not performing magic.
Not at all. You are momentarily bypassing the user interface and accessing the raw data of the network. You are essentially hearing the music without the phone.
That is incredibly humbling, but also kind of liberating. It means the you navigating this universe is so much vaster than what our physical biology allows us to perceive.
Exactly, Nova. We are navigating a highly complex, multi-dimensional universe, but we are driving with a dashboard that only shows us a speedometer and a gas gauge. The golden rule here is don't mistake the icon for the file.
Don't mistake the icon for the file. I love that. So the next time you get a sudden hunch, listeners, or a sudden stroke of genius, don't just dismiss it because it didn't come from a logical deduction. It might just be that for a split second, you took off the headset and saw the code. Saul, thank you so much for joining us today and breaking down these incredibly deep concepts into something we can all grasp.
Thank you for having me, Nova. It's always a pleasure to look past the interface with you.
And to all our listeners out there, if you want to explore these mind-expanding topics even further, head over to our website and check out the full article, The Interface Illusion: Why Your Brain Hides the Truth. You can find the link right down in the description below. Trust me, it is a must-read. Keep wondering, keep questioning, and we will catch you on the next episode.